I'm starting back with childhood to let you know where some of the things started in childhood. I was a child that didn't speak. I didn't speak for a long time. I took longer than other kids to speak. And so my mom said that she was worried about me because I didn't talk. So she was worried I had development issues. And I think as a child, I think I just pointed and things happened. And so I didn't really need to talk very much. And so everybody was worried about me. And I think in my life, this is a reoccurring issue of being a late bloomer, taking longer than the rest of the world to learn things, and not always observing things as fast as other people. And so I remember when I was going into second grade, they were wondering if I was a slow learner and needed to go into special ed. And so they put me into special ed in second grade. And then they soon found out that I didn't really fit into special ed. And so they put me in special ed for 2 or 3 months. And then it just wasn't a good fit for me because I was having trouble reading. And so they just didn't think it was a good fit. And I knew I had an issue with struggling to keep up, struggling to be in school. And even in second grade, I knew I had an issue. And so I remember asking my mom, and I asked her, I said, "Mom, can you hold me back? I'd like to go to second grade again." And I just realized I was just getting behind, and I heard of other kids that were held back. So I actually knew about being held back. So it was my idea, and I just asked my mom, I said, "Can you hold me back?" And I was right. I got held back a year, and all of a sudden, so everything I did was a repeat. All the learning I did was a repeat. And I finally went from not doing well in school to boosting my grades way up. And that's what had to happen. I had to be held back. And so that was something in second grade, I understood myself and to know that I needed to be held back to catch up and to fit in and to get my basics down. And so my mom was really proud of me that I knew I needed to be held back. And I was proud of myself too, because that really is what had to happen. And so basically the theme I was going through in school was I just didn't know how to fit in, really didn't know how to use my words, didn't know how to communicate. I always felt like an underdog and at this point in my life in second grade. And so basically my parents put me in gymnastics, and I was in gymnastics for a couple of years, and I finally found something I was good at. I finally found something I excelled in, and I was really a great gymnast. I could do all kinds of flips, one-hand walkovers. I could do front handsprings, back handsprings, the splits in more than one way. And I could do several flips in a row. And I could almost do a no-hand flip, but I always had to put my hand down for a second. So this is what built my confidence. This is what changed my life, was gymnastics. It gave me confidence. It helped me fit in. And it was my language. From being a slow learner and being behind and not always understanding things and not always observing things like the rest of the kids, gymnastics was a way that I became part of school that I fit in, that people thought there was something special about me, and all of a sudden I wasn't. I was like a little bit of a hero. Being a really great gymnast, I was like a little bit of a hero, it seemed. And so I realized I didn't really need to be good at talking. I could just do gymnastics, and that would do the talking for me and would let people know who I was. And so I remember I used that gymnastic skill to get into cheerleading. And when they saw me do the gymnastics, I got voted in to be cheerleader, and I was a cheerleader for 3 years. And it was that gymnastics that got me that skill. And it was just really exciting to be a cheerleader, and it was a little different than the other girls, and I didn't have any money at all. So we had to fundraise all of our money by doing car washes and bake sales and anything we could do so we could pay for our uniform. And I loved being a cheerleader. I feel like I had no idea what was going on with the football team and everything. I just followed along with the other girls and did whatever they did. And I love those years of being a cheerleader. And I'd like to share one of my cheers with you. And also, I remember the song we did a dance to, and it was 1999 by Prince. And I still remember some of the moves from that. And it was called, I was dreaming when I met you. Well, anyway, I really can't remember that one, but I just remember that was our song, and I remember the moves are really fun. I did remember the moves. And let me rehearse one of the beginning of one of the cheers. It was, I said a boom, a chicka boom. I said a boom, a chicka boom. I said a boom, a chicka rock, a chicka boom. All right, So that was the beginning of one of our cheers. And we were the Wolverines when I was a cheerleader for 2 years in grade school and 1 year in high school. And I was always more popular when I was a cheerleader. When I let go of being a cheerleader, some of the popularity left. And that was like the first time I was ever popular. So that was the fun part about being a cheerleader, is I went from not knowing too many people and not having too many friends to becoming popular. And I really loved that, And I didn't realize when I stopped being a cheerleader that would change. But, okay, here's another one of our cheers. How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? So come on, all you Wolverines, and shake your caboose. So that was one of our cheers. Those were some really good times in my life. And I remember I would try to do everything. I would experiment. If there was a contest, I would enter it. I entered art contests. I entered poetry contests. I drew the back of our yearbook. I was all into design. I was all into art. And I just really had fun just giving everything a try. I loved doing volunteer work. And I brought my grades up again. I was like C average when I was in 6th grade. And by the time I got to 7th and 8th grade, I was an honor roll. And one of my things I did that I enjoyed doing is I would just memorize things really fast, and then I could say it the next day. And that helped me. So I was good at cramming in school. And yes, I remember the first boy I kissed, French kissed, and that was a funny experience. And I remember the first guy I ever French kissed, his name was Sky Elder. And it was just this funny experience, and we were going out and holding hands, and he kissed me, and I was all nervous. It was my first French kiss. I think I was in about 7th or 8th grade. And I was so nervous. I like clenched my teeth really tight and because I was afraid because I never had done it before. And it was just really funny because I'm sure he remembers that too. But we were going out for a short period of time, but I always remember him as one of my first boyfriends. And then I kind of kept up with him as he got older. And now I know he's running a big restaurant I heard in Portland, Oregon. And so it's fun to keep up with the first boyfriends. I also remember the first boys I played chase with in first grade, and that was super fun too. And I also remember someone kissing me one time. I think I was in 6th grade. It was just a little kiss. It wasn't a big deal. It was just a short little, quick little kiss. And I thought it was really special, but it was just a quick kiss. And so many girls didn't like me because they liked this guy. And why did this guy kiss me? They didn't know. And so I had a bunch of girls just deciding they weren't going to like me and they were going to get everyone not to like me. And this was in 6th grade. And so I think it took a whole year because this one guy kissed me to make friends. And the girl that got everyone to dislike me, after a year, she just decided that I guess she felt sorry for me and became my best friend. So her name was Anita. And so she went from being the leader that got everyone to dislike me to, oh, I feel sorry for this girl, I'll be her best friend. So it was super funny. But this is the beginning of my high school years. And I also wanted to share with you in high school. This just shows what a late bloomer I am. So I didn't know how to tell a joke. And I didn't know the joy of telling a joke or the joy of being funny until I was in about 6th grade. And I knew what it felt like for people to laugh at me and in a negative way. And that always felt uncomfortable. And so I never wanted people to laugh at me. But then in 6th grade, I learned how to tell a joke for the very first time. And I was doing a speech about dirt. And I had this big can of dirt, and I just put it on the table and I said dirt. And when I was telling my speech about dirt, and everybody laughed, and I was like, wow, I think I just told my first joke. And I'll never forget that. It was so funny. You had to be there.